Welcome to the creamy cacao making mini workshop. I'm super excited. Try to make a good setup in my kitchen for you. So in case you want to go along, I'll show you, I think, three to four different ways how to make cacao. Now I just remembered one thing that I forgot. Okay. So there are like a few things we can kind of do wrong. We can do wrong when making cacao. We can still drink it. It's just not gonna taste maybe as expected, or we might, just like pour, for example, too hot water and then burn some of the active ingredients. But anyway, first thing that you need is warm water. And warm water is not hot water. So when you have warm water and you pour it in a cup, so you can just boil it, and then you pour it in a cup. That's actually the best way to kind of slowly cool it down and also measure it. So this is a bigger cup of cacao. This is like let's say a cappuccino cup, milk coffee. When making ceremonial cacao, it's more of a smaller cup, unless you want to make ceremonial hot chocolate. Then you can take a bigger one because you put less cacao and more liquid in it. So kind of rule of thumb, if you want like really rich, creamy, thick texture, it's like the ratio is like less liquid and more cacao. And I know people are like, no, I can't put that many spoons, Yes, you can if you want to make like a really rich cacao. And the good thing is, like, if you ever have leftover cacao, that's like just a tip already now that I can tell you. Put it in a jar and put it in the fridge. And next day you have a chocolate cream. You can pour over your breakfast. You can eat with fruits. It's really nice. This won't happen if you make hot chocolate because it's just not enough cacao and cacao butter. It's actually the cacao butter that becomes thickened and then is not liquid anymore. Another option, if you make too much cacao and can't drink it, if it's really strong, you can also put it in a Tupperware and then put it in the freezer. And then you can defreeze it and enjoy it then again. That's another option. So these are two options to do if you have too much cacao. It's really, don't throw cacao away. It's very precious. It's like, it's like brown gold. You shouldn't be wasting it. It takes a lot to harvest it, and especially if it's like ceremonial grade and organic. Like, it's really a lot of work for it to arrive to us to consume. Today's cacao that I'll be preparing with you is the Starry Night Blend. This is my current favorite. It smells so good. And if you're used to like this, when you think of Christmas spices, most of you think of like some, just like unhealthy, really over sugared sweets that we eat on Christmas. But actually, it's not that. It's like the nice, good Christmas spices, high quality, and not too sweet, and then like with good chocolate. It's actually so nice. And of course, the silver and the sparkle make it even, just nice. It's nice if your cacao sparkles. And of course, it's not necessary, but if it makes us enjoy life more and see more beauty, why not? Okay, so there are different methods of preparing your cacao. Besides the thing that your cacao should never boil and the water shouldn't be hot, there is not much you can do wrong. One thing is not being present while preparing your cacao. So even if it's just like a simple moment to take a few deep breaths before you start, that's already helpful to center you more and actually put the right energy in preparing your cacao. Because this is a big part of it. So maybe the intention could be as simple as, I need a moment of relaxation before I go to work, in the morning, and I really need that extra nurturing for my heart. Maybe another intention is like I want to dive into something really painful, and I want to stay centered in my heart as I do that. Or maybe it's simply as I want to see more beauty around me. There can be many things, that why we drink cacao is very personal, and it's just important to know this is medicine, and that actually everything we consume can be seen more as a medicine, and we should be more aware of how much it takes actually for food and just like these raw materials to come to us to actually consume and prepare. I think we would appreciate it more if we would have to, garden and harvest and all these things that are planned, the taking care of the land. I think then we would appreciate it more, and we wouldn't waste as much food, because we know it's like hard work, and also it takes a lot from the earth. I mean, if you plan things, you need to plan something else in between, so you can still nurture the earth. So, yeah, I think it's time to rethink our consumption in these terms. So, a test if if your water is not too hot or too hot, is to put your finger in. When you take a bath and you go in and it's like way too hot, and you're like taking your foot out, you're like, no way, I'm gonna go in this. That's the same with your cacao. Your cacao doesn't want to bath in too hot water. So put your finger in if it's not too hot, and go for it. Of course, you also don't want to have cold cacao unless you want to make iced cacao. That's another story. And a good thing to always have around making cacao is some kind of towel, kitchen towel. It can get messy, the process of making cacao. I'll be showing you 3 ways to make cacao. One way is to use a blender. Oops. And this can be like a simple hand blender. It can be a standing mixer, whatever you have at home. If you have a milk foamer, you can also use that. That's another option. But best is actually to blend it, because then the butter and the cacao and everything, like cacao butter, not like butter, can really melt with the water, and it gets really creamy, and then you actually don't need any milk in it. And when I say milk, I mean plant-based milk. Cacao shouldn't be consumed with cow milk, because cow milk makes the absorption of the good nutrients and all the good stuff in the belly much more difficult. So yeah, that's a good fact. So, okay, blender we have. Then another option that I've been using a lot while traveling, and we'll also make it, but just to show you, another option is to shake it. So this can be in a jar, depending, because the cacao is not too hot, you can do it, or in a tumbler. And you can just put it in, and then you can just really shake it and put all the energy in it, that's a really, really good option. And then you can straight drink it from whatever you mixed it in, or you can pour it in a cup. That's actually what I've been using a lot, while traveling, because I didn't have any blender and also many other tools. I know of course, people sometimes take a spoon in their cup of cacao, they just stir it. You can do that, but because this is not your powdered conventional cacao, it's not going to be the same experience. It's like you can do that, but just be aware that you have to rethink cacao making when it comes to ceremonial cacao. It's just not the same way. If you do that, at least use a fork, so you can kind of stir it better. Then another thing is a whisk. You can whisk your cacao, and this is best, of course, in a pot. Many people do that. I don't have a metallic whisk, so it doesn't work with this version. So that's a really good option next to the shaking if you don't have a blender or don't want to use your blender. So yeah. And if you whisk it in your pot, you can also whisk it and then put the pot on the stove and just like keep stirring as it's gently warming up, not boiling, but as it's warming up, it becomes thicker. It becomes more like chocolate sauce. This you can do with your cacao even if you shake it or you blend it or whisk it. You can put it back into the pot and just warm it a little bit up. The cacao just becomes more heavy, like really chocolate, like melted chocolate. So that's really nice if you like that, or you want to make actually some kind of chocolate sauce to drizzle over your porridge, or there are different ways. So these are the three options. I'll just show you one thing. So I have here different cup sizes, just to show you. So you can of course make your cacao in a big mug, then it's more like hot chocolate. If you want to make hot chocolate, this might sound complicated, but for me, honestly, I feel like most of the plant-based milks are not pure enough that I actually mix them with my cacao. So I was experimenting with almond milk, and you can do this with any nut or seed that you want. One nice ratio is like you take a cup, no matter which cup, it's just gonna be a different total amount of liquid or milk that you have. But you take a cup, you fill it up with nuts or seeds that you enjoy, and you put water in it and you let it stay for 4 hours or overnight to soak them and to activate the nuts. Then you wash them the next day and you put them in your blender. You put the cup of the nuts in and you put a cup of the same cup cold water, just one. And then it becomes like really cream thick. It's more like kind of cream, like not milk, creamer. This then you can add into your hot chocolate ceremonial cacao with some warm water, or you mix this with hot water. So that actually becomes really, really nice. Of course, you might want to add some maple syrup to it, or honey, or coconut sugar, jaggery, whatever you like. I always say don't use refined sugar. It's just the quality ain't that good. And it's so pure, this cacao, you don't want to really add anything stupid to it. Of course, if you have anything medicinal things that you use, like let's say you like to put some adaptogens like ashwagandha or something in your cacao, you can do that. And so this is your experimenting. Then how many or how much cacao to actually use, like more practical tips. So it's okay. Actually, I need this. I'll put this aside. So when it comes to measuring your cacao, let's say 1 tablespoon of cacao. I'll just do it here. So like 1 tablespoon, this is like about this kind of style. It's like, a nice normal tablespoon. 1 of those is 3 grams. So I recommend, like on the package, I write 4 to 7. So it's like 12 gram to 21 gram. This is a good, like 12 gram is for most people, if they're not used to cacao, like kind of intense, especially from a hot chocolate, because it becomes very rich, very nice. Or everything more than 80 grams to, let's say, 22 grams, 23, is a meditation dose. So this, when you do that, you should do it with water, and I would say it's like 1.5 to 2 deciliter of water. This comes about to a cup that is a little bit bigger than an espresso cup, but not as big as a coffee mug. So you have to experiment. And you know what? Measure it. First time you do it, first few times you do it, maybe measure it. I know, like if you want to really, learn it seriously, you measure it and then you can develop a feeling for it. It's like always a mix of intuition and also just skills that you can teach yourself. So you can measure the cacao and you can also measure the water. And then you figure out what you like. And it's going to change also depending on the day. And of course, best practice, as with everything, is practice. Like that's how you become better at it. So yeah, that's the thing. And then you blend it. I think I won't blend it now unless you want me to blend it. But yeah, let me know. Do you have questions? You can just write them in the chat. Is there anything that you would like to know? Should I show something more? Talk about something? Yeah. Tell me. Just gonna wait. No questions, guys? Okay, maybe there are no questions, so that's good. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. Oh, there's a question. Yeah. So, like, what's a normal cup? Can you tell me what? So the question is, could you repeat the amount of cacao you're using for a normal cup? First, I need to know what's the definition of a normal cup. Then I can tell you. So for this kind of cup, this is like 2 deciliter teacup. Okay, so this is like really like a teacup, like let's say Chinese, Japanese style teacup. If you need more something like this kind of mug, this is of course double the size. So this is different. I would say to get it really creamy, it should be like if you want to make ceremonial cacao, it should be at least 15 gram and 1.5 deciliter to 2 deciliter of water. And if you're using this and you want to make more like hot chocolate, you can use, for example, let's say, 4 to 7 cups, and then you can mix like with milk or 1 to half milk, half water ratio. So I would say that. But with ceremonial cacao, you can experiment. You start at 15 grams, then you do more. Then next time you do maybe 18 grams, then you do 20 grams. I mean, you can dose up to 50 grams for a really strong ceremonial dose. I don't recommend doing that. It's very strong. But you can easily, like, I easily use 30 grams for this. And this, like this is kind of almost the same, slightly bigger. So yeah, then it's like really you do a whole practice, you sit in meditation and you see how your system reacts on it. And I must say, I've been skeptical around like hot chocolate ceremonial cacao, but actually it's really nice, especially if you want to switch from drinking a lot of coffee, which for example I do, and I see like it's not always good for me. So this is like really, it's nice and it can still be intentional. So really, I know like there's lots of controversy around how we should prepare cacao, what's appropriate, what's not. But I feel like your intention is important. You're honoring that this is a plant medicine. And I mean, this is with any plant. You could say this could be with every single herb you use. like knowing it has medicinal properties. So yeah, let me check. Is there a difference between using the naked chocolate blends and the untreated block of ceremonial cacao in terms of final consistency? No, not really. Just needs more. It just needs more time to prepare it, and it just needs more time to prepare it, and it's a longer process, and of course, like. You can go after spoons, so you will have to actually measure it. Yeah. So this is it. Do you have any more questions or anything? Yeah, I can share before we close this. Yeah. That's so nice, actually. So, for everyone that hasn't done the cacao masterclass yet, if you're curious to learn more about it, it's like an extended 2 hours workshop. Feel free to join. There is an online version next weekend. So, on the 6th of February. And yeah, I'd love to have you and just also learn more about the chocolate industry, about just more. There's so much to learn about this. It's like such a fascinating plant to work with and to experiment with, and also to consume, no matter if it's like liquid or it's a chocolate or whatever you do. I know people, they bake with this, they make desserts, and they have experimented with that, and giving it to people that don't know anything about ceremonial cacao, and they would feel the effect. And I think that's super beautiful, and yeah, that's it. Okay. So perfect. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate. It's been really fun. And yeah, enjoy making your cacao. It's a process. It's gonna change, and it's always you'll always get the right cup. So you just drink it. And you will sit with what comes up. So yeah, bye.